there's been a lot of information revealed from Avatar: The Way of Water on the Amazon website based on those pictures posted from the visual dictionary as well as the art book on The Way of Water, and it can be a bit overwhelming if you try to digest everything at once. So in this video I want to look at one specific part, one part of the Recom and Quaritch as well, and see what we can dissect from a dog tag and a logo. Avatar Theory here, hope you're doing well and having a fantastic day. And first off, I want to say a huge thanks to everybody for watching that extensive video where I go through all of the pictures that was posted on Amazon from the visual dictionary. And in one particular image, this one that you see on the screen, there is a lot of information from the Recoms, from their weapons, from new Recom soldiers, and some people in my comments pointed out the dog tag as well as the logo of the Recoms. So in this video I'm going to focus on that specifically because there's quite a few things to dissect from those two items alone. Now firstly, looking at the logo, this blue and black logo with the two skulls, the first thing that obviously you'll see when you look at the logo are the two skulls, the knife, and then at the bottom it says, quote, slogan promotes the unstoppable force of the Recom front line, end quote. And then of course the writing there is first Recom, it says Deja Blue, very clever there, and it says we will tread on you. Now obviously with the snake being there and it says we will tread on you, that immediately makes me think of the Gadsden flag, which is an historical American flag with yellow depicting a timber rattlesnake, essentially ready to strike. Beneath it, it says, quote, don't tread on me, and it was named after the politician Christopher Gadsden, who designed it in 1775 during the American Revolution. It was then used by the Continental Marines as an early motto flag, and since then has become very famous. Now of course, looking at the knife itself, at the bottom there where the handle is, you can see that it has the letters RDA imprinted at the bottom. Obviously this is a part of the RDA, and you know, normally when you think of military you think of first recon unit, and this is the first Recom unit because Recoms, this is the first group of Recom soldiers. If there will be more in the future we don't really know, but this is of course the first Recom unit that's going to be in Avatar, and of course this is their first group of soldiers. And looking at the two skulls, you can clearly see that one of them is a human skull, and the one in the back, the bigger one, is of course an Avatar or a Recom skull, because you have that hairpiece normally at the back there, and instead of it being a hairpiece it is a snake, again representing or kind of mimicking the flag that I just spoke about. And what's interesting about this is that instead of it being a normal hairpiece where they bond with the animals on Pandora, it seems like this is some sort of way to indicate that the Recoms is going to essentially forcefully take the animals, like, you know, by force without their will or consent, which can in a way be a disturbing way of how evil the RDA and the Recoms are going to be. You know, they see a dire horse and they just by force like basically push it down and connect to it, and then basically it controls it without its will. And also something interesting that somebody in my comments said, that if they have that, then the hairpiece, then maybe it could be a way where they could even capture some Na'vi and interrogate them in something, because they can read their thoughts if they connect basically like Jake and Neytiri did in a way, but not in a sexual loving way. It's more of a forceful way of, you know, forcing yourself. If you think of superhero movies where mind reader like Professor X, you know, forces, you know, reads somebody's mind kind of thing, it seems like that's the idea that I'm getting looking at this, where the Recoms are going to essentially force themselves to connect with the Na'vi, and that way they're going to read their minds, read their thoughts, and then get you know, maybe that's a way where they find out where the Metkayina clan is hiding Jake and Neytiri and the children. Maybe they interrogate some Metkayina people, and instead of them talking screen. They just connect to them forcefully into their mind, and that is how they read their mind. But also another very, very, very interesting thing to look at this logo is the human skull, because of course it is a human skull because it's much smaller, and initially looking at it you might think that those 3 lines is just part of the design, but actually it is the same 3 scars or the 3 lines that Quaritch has. You have to remember, thinking back to the first Avatar movie, he has those 3 scars on the side of his face, on the side of his head. So that again indicates to me that Quaritch is, part of not only the first Recom unit, but he is likely the first Recom that was created. That is maybe the reason that the Recoms were created is because of Quaritch, and he was the first quote unquote test subject, and that is why his scars is imprinted in that skull, because like I said, they want to represent not only the Recoms, but they want to represent Quaritch, because he is after all still the main bad guy in the second movie. So just looking at this logo itself, like I said, there is quite a lot to take away. But moving on to one other thing attached to Quaritch is the dog tag. Now initially when you see the picture of the dog tag, it is a little bit dark and you can't really read too much of it, but taking it into Photoshop and brightening it up a bit, sharpening some areas and turning it 90 degrees, you can actually take away quite a bit from this specific dog tag. Firstly, that it has Quaritch's name at the very top. You can see there it clearly says Quaritch. Now initially looking at the other lines, except Recom and maybe the O negative, the blood type in the second line, I didn't really know what all the lines in the dog tag meant. So I actually went on a website called thesoldiersproject.org, which I will leave a link to in the description below. And some of the information says that military dog tag information includes the wearer's name, blood type, social security number, and religious preference. So just looking at that, of course, at the top there, it has Quaritch's name, which is the wearer. I'm not really sure what M.S. is, but it says O neg, O-N-E-G, which is O negative, which is his blood type. M could possibly stand for male. S could possibly stand for single. I'm not too sure. And then there's a number at the middle, which is the social security number, or in this case, maybe a registration number. I'm not sure entirely what the 2, 3, 3, 10, I can't make out the last 4 too much. But it could be some sort of birth date, the month or something that he was created, a Recom. And then at the second last one from the bottom, it says Recom M. Again, that could be Recom male, but if that's male, then what is the M.S that dot? I'm not entirely sure, because those 2 is the only ones that I'm unsure about. I'm certain that one of those M's are male, but I'm not really sure what the other one stands for. And at the bottom there, it says none. Now, if you look at a snapshot from that website, you can clearly see that some of the dog tags from these people does say Catholic at the bottom, and then others say no preference. So the fact that Quaritch does not have a religion, it does say none. But again, I'm not too sure what that M dot or the S dot is standing for, because likely Recom M is Recom male, and if it was a female Recom, because we saw some female Recoms as well, it'll likely be Recom F. So M dot S dot I'm not entirely sure for. If you think you know what it means, or if you do know what it means, then let me know in the comments below, because I'm just guessing here. And like I said, one is likely single, or one is man, male. I'm not too sure. It could be a lot of things, but I'm not too sure what those 2 things are. But like I said, just looking at the logo and the dog tag, there's a lot to dissect just from these 2 small items, and there's a lot more items that was revealed by the art book. That is why I said in my extensive video yesterday that it's going to be better that I go through this by myself, item by item, read the description, and just go through the comments that you guys are putting in the comment section, because a lot of times I think of something and then somebody says something to a similar extent, and it gives me this idea of like, yeah, what I'm thinking is correct, or something I don't necessarily think about. So if you know anything from these dog tags that I might have missed, or the logo that I might have missed, then let me know in the comments below. And for more Avatar content, have a look at the rest of my channel. Until next time, have a fantastic day and stay safe.